S3.15 of around percent of species, animal and plant, likely to extinction. Quarter of species have been evolving.
in short, sectors or in the faculty of hard science, most people are a bit scared, a bit afraid of legal issues with afforestation, reforestation, protect conservation, without mastering the legal tools, because afforestation, reforestation touch upon property rights, it touch upon issues of liability, it touches upon the powers granted to the administration, to the forestry or to the nature conservation forestry. So it seems to me that the faculties of biology and the faculties of forestry on the importance of legal issues. So although you are not lawyers, I invite you to look at your national legislation, to look at the international agreements. You have much on the internet today. You can have access to most of the major legal texts, and to try, because one can protect in as much as there is a regulation. If you have no regulation, there won't be any offense, there won't be any prosecutions. So the law plays a role. Although we'll come back to finance, we'll come back to economic issues, funding, relations and rights, and to strike the balance.
Thank you so much. For taking the third question, I can even add, even if you're a student, you're in the future, for creating NGOs or future leaders, it's you who take those policies or other things which will benefit the future of the forest. So you are among the crucial people who really want to understand what's the importance of the forest, because tomorrow it depends on the young people. So thank you so much. May I ask, take the third questions? Thank you.
I happen by chance to also come from the University of Rwanda. I'm a lecturer there. I'm a lecturer in the Department of Rural Development and Agroeconomics. But skills in whatever you are going to have to do afterwards. But more importantly, based on the knowledge you have acquired and the skills you have gained, the change of attitude in order to address issues of concern. I'm not sure now in your department whether you are going to come across this particular...
Dr. Richard, so let me go to the next speakers. Her name is Clemence Iradukunda, Rwanda nationality, lectures in the University of Ines. He has is the candidate on PhD in Nîmes, en Belgique. He has a master's in applied science. He is who are going to give us the next session. So let us hear from her. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I think Shema has introduced me, but my name is Idukunda, not Iradukunda. I know people confuse that, but I think maybe the one which is familiar is Iradukunda, but for me it's Idukunda. Yeah, I'm glad to be here, and I was asked just to. I think it's a kind of. Can you hear me? I don't know if it's, yes. It's a kind of remind of our forest ecosystems, because I have two topics, but I will talk now on one and then maybe another one later. Yes, okay. Okay. I'm just asking you to imagine anything. What are you thinking? Because we are here talking about the future of forests. So I'm just asking you to imagine a world without forests. So what do you think? Or a world without green features, like what we see, because when we say forests, of course this is a group of trees, but where I explain or where we have a lot of green features. So imagine that it means no air, no trees, no good health, no what? No life. No what again? No food. No water. So imagine if you can't breathe. Are you still existing? All right. Yeah. So join me in the journey to just go through some forest as an ecosystem services or ecosystem service provider, but focusing on what we have here in Rwanda. So the reason why I'm calling just a reminder is because I think most of you are Rwandese, maybe except Nicolas. So you all know what's happening, but it's a kind of reminder, and I'm glad that we have students. So I really like to work with young people. So it's a pleasure to share with you or to remind about this, so that you can take action as is your name Richard? Yes, as Richard was saying. Okay. So we all know that forests, they provide some services. So when we call them ecosystem, it's because this is just a set of different activities that may be provided by forests. So we have the main 4 ecosystem services provided by forests, like provisioning, regulating, supporting, and cultural. So when we talk about provisioning, that's what we get from forests, like timber, trees or building materials. What we get just directly from forests. But again, forests, we know that they regulate climate or other environmental. They can support us in ecotourism. So we shall see different examples from Rwanda, and again in cultural or traditional, traditional ways we can use or we can depend on forests. 24 by forests. And I don't know if you no, the map, I think the map is not, you can't see it very well, but we have different type of forests. So here what I wanted to report, no, I can't say the latest, because I know that there are a lot of activities of land restoration going on. But from Ministry of Environment report 2019, so these are the forest cover map that have shown in that report. yeah, as you can see, so we have really enough forests, or just in forests, of course, we have some national parks. I think everyone, which I want to see if you guys, you follow. Because I can see my students here. Yes? Sorry? We have 4? Is it true? Of course, you can see there are 2 already. Because I'm asking because I know most of you don't recognize, or you don't remember that we have the recent national park, which is Gishwati Mokura National Park, so which was recently appointed as a national park. So, and these are the size of these national parks that we have. So, to show that we have forests where we get the different ecosystem services that I've explained in the beginning. But in addition, we have also some forest reserves. What is the difference between forest and forest reserve? I don't know if there are people who are in the field of forest. There were students from UR Kavem. Do you have a department regarding to the forest? What is the difference between, let's say, there are a lot of technical terminology: forest reserve, protected areas, national parks. Do you know the difference? Yes? Who can tell? But you are the one. No, let's look if there is another one, because he has already answered. Is there anyone who can help? Yes?
Thank you.
Yes?
My name is Jean-Baptiste Rakoze. I am from Natural Conservation in Rwanda Polytechnic, IPRC Kitabi. How understand the forest reserve and the natural forest? Forest reserve are those forests which are planted just for reserving habitat for different animal ecosystem, and the forests are those which are mainly natural, like Nyungwe National Forest. That is natural forest.
We have also planted forests.
We have planted forest like Mokula, Gishwati. Some like around the buffer zones are those planted trees, which may say like they are a reserve forest. Like Yamudongo. Yamudongo is a forest reserve.
All right, thank you. Yes, for the sake of the time. But yeah, it's true, because we have natural forest, we have a planted forest, but we have also percent of the country's GDP is coming from a forest, Rwanda, according to the recent report. And again, forests contribute to the livelihood improvement, especially agriculture. So you know the percentage of agriculture contribution to the GDP of the country. And of course, we use forests as domestic cooking energy, especially charcoal. I think you know all of that. And then as they help also as countries' ecotourism or tourism opportunities. And then, as we know, so our forests help to regulate other ecosystem, like, as we say, to regulate climate. Just, I think some of you are talking, someone asked about, I think, carbon storage or carbon sink, so we talk about it later. But also forests, they help to mitigate the climate change and also protect biodiversity. I think we all know this. So they also support, they provide other support services, as I have said. So if you look in Rwanda, we have Nyungwe as a natural forest, so which has more than 1,000 species, and which has of flora and also of animals, birds, chimpanzee, or other type of animals. We have also Volcano National Park. I think you all know that, which is famous due to mountain gorillas. That is a particular of our country. So when we talk about cultural services, of course, we are talking about this ecotourism or other traditional ways of using forests. I think we have some species in Kinigi. Kinigi is part of Musanze, yes? Yes. So where also we use kind of forests on some traditional ways, and we also have some research areas like, I think, Ellen DeGeneres of Diana Fossey campus, where we can do research also on conservation of gorillas. So in Rwanda, I think you know that we have an institution, particular institution in charge of forests, which is RFA. So you can read more about some medicinal plants or some we get from different forests. You can learn about different projects that are there to promote like forests, so that we can keep benefiting on ecosystem services. So when we are talking about ecosystem services provided by forests, so without going in deep, because I think we all know it was a kind of remind, it's about of taking action, like we have been saying. So I know everyone, when he or she's asked about the importance of forest, so she or he can be able to provide really a long list. But we really need to benefit forests like sustainably. So that's why I encourage everyone to give his contribution for the sustainable management of forests, because we have seen all these ecosystem services that we get from forests, so that we can live healthy, we can live in a good environment. And I think someone was asking, we are not lawyers, we are learning about law. So how are we concerned? So the reason why I say be what you preach is because we all say that we are in conservation, we are in forest. The good thing that I have people who can give testimonies here. It's a good, but we have to take really action. So it's not about learning about ecosystem services from forest, but also we have to show our contribution, or to show our role in managing forests. So that's why I say be what you preach. It means, so here we are engaging, I think even WCI, you do that. You also engage people in afforestation or reforestation activities, but not only that, just to protect. So that's why I say it's about land restoration. It's not about tree planting. So we will know the difference. You guys, you like tree planting, but it's not about tree planting, because we all plant trees, but how many trees grow and we get land restored? So we need really to take action for benefiting like sustainably on ecosystem services provided by forests. Okay, I think I may end by here for now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Idukunda Clemence, for good presentation. So I would like to take two questions from who want to ask for Clemence, and then we do round table, 15 minutes, and then we go to the tea break. So if someone have a question to ask Clemence, please go ahead. Okay.
Thank you so much. My name is Olive Manurimo, and I'm the student at University of Rwanda. So I really appreciate your presentations, and it's really a pleasure to be with you because it's important as a student to gain more knowledge and insight to the outside the community. So my question is regarding on the, as you know, the population increases, and also Professor Nicholas said that the population increases, the natural resources expected to grow. But I have doing research on Lake Kalagodea at Nyabihu, but we face challenge where there is 50 meters of agroforestry. But actually, we found that the most of the people around there, they're not happy for that 50 meters of agroforest just planted there, because they think that 50 meters there, they're not for the agriculture, it's just helping them for just giving a manure, just providing the soil health. But actually, in terms of productivity, in terms of fighting malnutrition, they're not just getting what they really want. So my question is that what are the strategies? Because actually we are planting plant, for example, albinos, but mostly after 2 days or 3 days, where we put it on borders, they already removed away because they think that those they will take a long time to grow, and they suggest we can just use like fruitful agroforestry so that they can gain some those fruits for their children's. So what are the strategies can we use so that those peoples around can be able to understand those issues? Thank you.
One of the strategies is what we are doing right now is to engage all of you first to understand what we are when we are talking about forest protection, we are talking about conservation, and when we are talking about like ecosystem services from forest and anything. Because if everything, I believe everything, I think even Professor said, starts by knowledge. When you know, you understand, so you can also engage others. Yes, it's challenging because I think he said it, we are the context where we are facing like kind of poverty, high poverty, and other problems, but mostly poverty. So when they said, so for us we really need fruit trees. For me, I think it's not a problem because as long as it's also a fruit trees, they can benefit from them. And I mean, in two ways, for fruits and for also these ecosystem services. But when it comes also to plant like other terrestrial forest, because we can't plant always fruit trees, it's a matter of like explain and help them to understand all these ecosystem services we get from forest, so that they can really, let's say, understand all these benefits. Because we don't see the today's benefit, but also we have to look sustainable benefit. So if you guys, you are here, you are the one who are going to be like, I don't know, land managers, forest, what, I don't know, what, any kind of work, services you are going to give. So you will be helping us to engage this community to understand all of this like concern. So that's why we are here to talk about the future of forests. I don't know if I have answered you very well, but otherwise I can give microphone to other people.
Thank you very much. My name is Jean de Dieu Nizembawazi, coming from Mubrera district as the Director of Agriculture and Natural Resources. My background is about this program. I have the Masters in Environmental Economics and Natural Resources, and I'm pursuing now my PhD. I'm PhD fellow biodiversity and the environment, biodiversity et environnement. See, different, it's somehow different. So thank you very much. I support the question from that student asking why the partners in the forest development, policies makers, can't establish or introduce the program or the system. What I called in the previous meeting, I heard it in the there at Kigali in the Nation Symposium for the forest. I supported that the partners in the forest development can introduce what we can call the fruits-based tree systems, as we are trying to establish some systems in the agriculture, in the forest, in the environment, and so on. Because if we innovate, we introduce the system, the fruit tree-based system, it can encourage, it can motivate many farmers to adopt trees. Yes, the researches are there that we plant trees, but race survive. Everybody may ask why. We found that many partners or implementers are planting trees, as Clemence coming to say, but they do not grow trees. Growing trees, it's really involve everybody, starting by selecting the species that farmers like, the species that gives direct services to the farmers, to the community, to the people, like fruits, like foods. But if we try to plant the indigenous trees, Umusave for instance, these people will see no direct interest to this, to the services. Yes, you have to teach them, to mobilize them, and some we are advising and encouraging the partners in the forest development to plant trees and grow trees by making some incentives, as it's starting trees as the carbon sinking, carbon exchange, carbon credit, and so on. Thank you for the question you ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think because we don't have time, we can do round table for 10 minutes, and then we discuss about. I call Iradukunda Clemence, Professor Nicholas, and co-founder of Nature Rwanda, Claude, to come here and then discuss about small questions. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, the representative. So we have like 10 minutes about roundtable discussions, and then the first question is what we are going to discuss. We have Claude from Nature Rwanda, have a background in conservation. We have Professor Nicolas from Université de Louvain. We have a PhD candidate, Idukunda Cremas, University of Ines. So what do you think, how does the current state of forest law in the European Union, in summary, what do you gain about presentation for Professor Nicolas? Claude.
Thank you very much. My take from the presentation of Professor about the legal framework on forest in the European Union is just about to make sure that all the states come together to establish a legal framework where they can work together to make sure that they are trying to address conservation issues and trying to achieve common and shared targets, and having in place a framework to monitor the progress. And they have established this International Court of Justice to make sure that if something is going wrong, the International Court of Justice jump in and help the government to make an agreement and come up with a solution which can help the communities and the countries.
So from those law from European Union, do you think there is some as that we can learn and establish in Rwanda, and what is the challenge can be if we introduce those laws in Rwanda?
Actually, I think that Rwanda is not an island. It's a country among other countries. Even if we have our own laws in Rwanda, most of them, they take reference to international laws, what the international conventions, international treaties, the agreement the country has signed, what they are exposing, or what they are asking the country to do as Rwanda. So I think that the progress our country is trying to make in...
Sir Nicholas, what the lesson can be drawn from Rwanda, according to you?
I think many lessons. So when I've been in West Africa, emphasized the ban on plastic packaging in Rwanda. It is very effective. In Togo, there is similarly a presidential ban on plastic packaging, but it's not enforced. So you have plastic waste all over the place. Recently, I was working in Ghana, in Burkina Faso, when it's raining. These plastic bags are wreaking havoc. So just regarding a very simple issues, packaging, Rwanda has been a front runner. Rwanda has been much faster than the European Union in banning plastic bags. Plastic bags are an environmental disaster, a health disaster, because you have for the farmers, for the peasants, to use a natural packaging as it has been for centuries. So in that connection, it seems to me that Rwanda can play a role in being a front runner in Africa regarding good management practice. I spent 10 days with a guide in Gué forest. It seems to me that the management was very professional. The legislation was enforced strictly. The tourist activities were well controlled in compare from what I've seen in other African countries. So Rwanda can be a model on the African continent in implementing serious, robust, innovative policies. And that could be the strength of the country. And so that's where I think Rwandese should look at what's going on in Europe. Forget about USA, in particular if Trump is becoming a president. Forget about China. But Europe is deprived of natural resources, so Europe has to reinvent its economy being more sustainable, and being solar, being autonomous. And there, Rwanda is also deprived of a number of natural resources. So that just looking at energy autonomy, at critical mineral autonomy, at recycling process, Rwanda could be highly interested in the new policy developments taking place in Brussels, and that could be a source of inspiration. And that's a bit the objective of this symposium, is to share ideas, and that I'm learning from the Rwandese experience, and that you are learning from what's going on in Brussels nowadays.
Ecosystem services can provide areas, and there is other economic aspect from the forest. But we got that 30% of land are degraded. Terrestrial, island, marine, ecosystem are under effective restoration. So what is the meaning, Clement? What do you think about that, about these sentences?
It means self-killing. Because if we know what we benefit from forest, and then we are seeing them being degraded at a high speed like that, so it shows really it's challenging. But yeah, when I say self-killing, is because we all know the importance of these forests. But if we are seeing them degrading, means to change the way we act, means to change the lifestyle, means to change, let's say, the way we have been living before. Because I think all of this depends on the not maybe. It's true, it's a high growing population. So depending on which goes with also rapid urbanization, a lot of infrastructure, like development, so which shows the clearance of forests. But this is really bad, and that's why when we are talking about this and using statistics, is just to show us how serious or how worse it is, and to show us what we have to do. And I always insist that it's everyone's responsibility, and everyone has to take action towards restoring or toward all this challenge. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Idukunda Clemence. And as Rwandan, we are a developing country, so we really need forest as an economic aspect. So people, they really need to build a house. They will, more 90% of Rwandan, they depend on agriculture. We really need industries. So according to Union European, so they already endommaging their forests or other things by they are developing. So they told us not cutting the forest or the other things, but we know that we are not way of development. We really need those resources. So Nicholas, what do you think? It will be the question for those, even Claude and Iradukun. What do you think? We can less our development to be our economics to be high, because if we make high economics, you know, we are damaging ecosystem forest. So Nicholas, what do you think we can take for the way of European, or there is other adaptation that we can do?
Well, it seems to me, and I've been taking part in many symposiums this last 34 years, taking part in many discussions, be it in developed and developing countries, to have a viable economy on the long term that recounts upon proper management of natural resources. China is going, in India, they experience a very sharp economic growth, but they are losing water. They will face a significant water shortage. You have constantly in India, for water shortage, industries that cannot produce anything anymore. So I imagine that to invest in sustainable use of the components of the biodiversity, be it fisheries, be it forest, be it agricultural products, makes really sense. And that, of course, requires state interventions, because the issue is how to strike the balance between the socio-economic needs of the communities, of the villages, of the farmers, of the workers, of the nation, and the ability of the ecosystems to provide the different services. And to find this equilibrium, you need a rule, you need a threshold, you need a standard, and that standard must be implemented. It cannot be negotiated. So, and it requires science, it requires scientific taking into account uncertainties in light of precaution to determine, okay, one can allow that level of fish catch, one can allow that level of harvest, one can allow that level of spread of pesticides in the fields. So that requires a very smart management, and one needs to cope with authorities where you have no corruptions, where you have proper management, proper training, and that's important for this new generation of students, that you are going to hold positions soon in your different communities, that state authorities look at Europe. The state with the highest level of educations, such as Finland, Sweden, Denmark, are the states where the authorities do play a big role, do play a key role. And the smart state interventions make sense. I'm against a full liberal economy proposed by the American societies. In Europe, at least in the social democratic state, we don't believe in the American models. Because it just increased the gap between the poor and the very rich.
Thank you. What do you think, Claude, about that?
Thank you very much. Actually, my point will be, it will not be easy to conserve in the face of a hungry community. We just have to think that we are conserving what for who? We are conserving for our communities, for our people. If conservation is just is compromising the well-being of the communities, we have to put question on what we are doing. But also, if the livelihood is compromising conservation, we have to think about what we are facing in the next few years. So, we have to make sure that there is a balance. If we think in that way, we will be able to start doing the things from our own, and this good message will be spread across the communities.
Thank you, Claude. What do you think, Clemence, about that?
I think they have all said, but what I can add, I remember when I was in my master's, I learned a course called Economic of Natural Resources Management. I think it was about a curve called Kuznets curve. So this curve shows that it shows the development, the link between development and conservation. So it shows that you should be developed, but to reach the level where you can also like help conserve, or you can get money which can help you to reimburse what you have used for development. I think that's the balance he said. Because if there is that kind of imbalance, so we are not moving. Of course, natural resources are there to be used for development, but not to be like overused or mismanaged, because we all rely on them for this development we need. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We have a good discussion, and then I think you really have some questions to ask, but we have a program as I said, so we're almost tired sitting here, so we can go to
are subject to Annex 1. It's mostly to the impact of climate change, to floods, to higher rainfall, but to some water in southern Europe, and abundance of population expansion. Good status, and this good status applies differently for criteria have been decided. So, of course, forests do play a key role in achieving the good status. However, the forests have never been the direct focus of the directive, in spite of the role they play in maintaining water quality. This is a long process. The directive has been adopted in 2000, now 2024.
Action from the European countries. That is why in my previous speech I said environmental conservation should be an attitude, should be a value. If we don't understand that, we will always be crying. Thank you.
It's a good point about
that we everyone reports like that. I don't know if so that they can make sure if there is low survival rate to replace the planted trees, so that they make sure if the number of trees planted are not meeting the grown one, there is a kind of replacement, so that we can really keep this planted trees, to make sure the number planted is the one grown. I can show you there is a mobile app.
Planting trees, as always, you are planting trees, you take all the trees you want to plant. You have to do, as a young, you have to do the research. This trees is adaptive to this climate. This trees is adapted to these places. I think it can be a very benefit to our climate. Instead of saying planting trees, we go for planting any trees in the area. And I like the things that Claude's saying. What we need is not to switch immediately from not using forests or other things. We need balance, at least. We can go from high to low. The balance is very needed because we need to live and the forest need to live. So balance will make sense to sustainable development of community, even for conservation. So let us go to the lunch and then be quickly, at least while we take a coffee break. Thank you so much.